Alright, what's going on, everybody? It's DAYYY Media coming at you with another video. You know what time it is. It's time to bring on that boxing. Today we're going to be talking about, Jake Paul. Everybody's saying, like, he's going to fight Anderson Silva. By the time this video comes out, maybe it's even going to be official, but I just want to give my take on kind of what this fight could mean for Jake Paul, how significant it is, and, how much respect we as boxing fans, should or should not support Jake Paul if he does get this win. First of all, Jake Paul was supposed to have that fight with Hasim Rahman. Obviously, it fell through. The MSG, big event, I believe, like around August 6th, something like that. That was supposed to go down, but unfortunately, the issue with the weight, Jake made that contract really like detailed, and they ended up canceling the entire event, which is unfortunate. But you got to move on. Now Jake's, they're saying that he's going to fight Anderson Silva October 15th, I think they said, but they definitely said October. Jake Paul, I respect this fight because, there are a lot of boxers, real professional boxers, that they kind of fight, fighters out of their prime, sometimes intentionally to kind of have that passing of the torch in a sense. I guess you could say that in the community that Jake Paul's in right now, where he's obviously not the best boxer in the world, but there's a market for what he's doing. He has a lot of fans, so there's money that can be made. If Jake Paul does go into, go through with fighting Anderson Silva, I think that's a big fight because you're not only getting some boxing fans who kind of want to see Jake Paul lose, and maybe some want to see if he's legit, or if they can even respect him as a boxer, or without the air quotes, a boxer. And in addition to all the boxing fans that would watch that fight, there would also be the UFC and MMA community, and they have crazy followings, and they also want to see Jake Paul kind of lose because he's had that back and forth feud with Dana White. Dana White actually commented on this potential matchup between Jake Paul and Anderson Silva, saying that he could definitely have a fight on his hands. It's not an easy fight for Jake. No matter how old Anderson Silva is, he's still dangerous for Jake Paul, and I agree. I 100% agree. In terms of who I would favor in this fight, I would give Jake kind of the upper hand. I think it's probably like a 60-40 fight in my estimation. Even though Anderson Silva's old, I don't doubt that he can pull it off. I think he can. Even at his age, like what Dana White said, he could be a real threat. And if he could, take Jake Paul into those deep waters where maybe he's never been before since the Tyron Woodley fight when he got rocked by Woodley, we'll see what Jake Paul's really made of. Maybe he'll gain even more respect from combat sports fans, boxing fans, and the UFC/MMA community. We'll see. Taking out a legend like Anderson Silva is like it's pretty big on a resume for somebody who hasn't even had 10 fights at all, or not even 7 fights. Like that's pretty impressive if you ask me. A lot of boxers, they don't even have any known names in their first 10 or 20 fights, but Jake Paul's he's fighting guys that are kind of household names in terms of people who follow the UFC or combat sports in general, boxing. So I'd give Jake Paul some sort of credit here, just because it's not an easy fight to take, and he's expected to win in good fashion. And if he doesn't, the criticism's going to be there. Obviously, there's going to be a built-in excuse about Anderson Silva and his age. But I still think it could be a big challenge for Jake. I still think it will be. But if he gets over this one and, kind of ragdolls Anderson Silva, I think that's a decent resume for someone with barely 5 fights or whatever, how many fights Jake Paul has had. So you got to give it to him in that sense. But we'll see what happens. I definitely watch that fight. If Jake Paul would be fighting a legend, we'll see. But I'd give Jake Paul the upper hand just because of, Father Time. He's undefeated. And I just don't know how much Anderson Silva has left. And I think he's only going to improve, even though he's not an amazing boxer. Like, he could still get it done. I feel like he could get it done. It's just one shot is all it takes. He didn't look amazing in the Woodley fight where he knocked him out, but it's like what I said, one shot done, and we'll see if Jake can do it. But let me know in the comments what you guys think about this fight. Do you guys give Jake Paul respect if he wins this fight, or do you respect him if he loses this fight? Let me know in the comments and kind of defend your answer if you don't mind, so we can kind of gain that perspective. But other than that, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.
Well, that's going to do it for another NASFight Media video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys for the constant support. Salute to you always.